Hi, it's Carlos. We're here with at Watersound Productions with Carlos Castro,
Hi Marcel, how you doing?
doing just fine. So, Carlos, tell me a little bit about yourself and Watersound Studios. I know you got your start with Bruce Swedeen.
Yes, I did. I started assisting Bruce back in 1990, at the end of 1990. I was involved assisting Bruce for about 3 years, and that's basically my college, what I consider, going to the Bruce Swedeen University. And he really made an impact in the way that I heard things, in the way that I perceive things, in the way that I approach my work when I'm recording and when I'm mixing
So
projects.
what have you done here? I love your facility, your
Thank you.
studio.
Well, the entire facility was built from the ground up. There was absolutely nothing here. It took me about 3 years to build this facility. And actually, the live room was demolished twice just because I was not happy with the sonics of the studio. And the very first project that was done here was a Latin artist by the name of Luis Miguel, and the name of the album was Amarte es un placer. That went on to win 3 Latin Grammy Awards back in 2001. So it was an incredible omen that it preceded all of the projects that came afterwards. I mostly specialize in recording and mixing albums for major label Latin stars and groups.
Tell me a little bit about the equipment that you use here.
Um, I would say about 80 to 90% of the equipment that you see in this facility has been heavily modified and heavily customized. Um, One of my very first pursuits since I started in this business was to basically achieve audio nirvana, and that is by having a platform that is as pure as possible and then inserting all of the colors with different pieces of outboard to achieve the sonic colors depending on um, basically the effect or the sound that I was going after, be it during recording or mixing of a project.
Just having a peek around.
No problem.
So about a year ago, well, it's been a couple of years. You started using our OCXV.
Oh God, yeah, I've been an Antelope audio user starting with the OCXV back in 2005. As you can see, the digital rig is pretty comprehensive with the 10 amp being on top, then the OCXV, and all of my converters are made by EMM Labs, designed by Ed Meidner, of course, which I find them to be the most neutral converters in the market that I've tested so far.
And what did first the OCXV do for the EMM labs, and also then when we added the 10M last year?
Well, without a doubt, to begin with, the OCXV gave me a much more detailed stereo image, and it created much more, sense of depth within the audio stereo image that before it was just very hard for me to achieve. The 10M was just a step, one step up from what I've heard previously with the OCXV. It was really mind-boggling the amount of detail that I heard with the 10M box. So much that, as you remember, you had the first unit here, and it was very hard for me to let go of it, just because I saw the tremendous benefit that box had. And actually, the very first I got one of the early boxes, and that very first box was used during the mixing of an album of an artist by the name of Pedro Fernandez. And that very same album, now in 2008, is nominated for a Latin Grammy. So
Excellent. That's great to
yeah,
hear.
yeah.
Well,
And Homero, which is standing behind you, he was the producer on that project. That's Homero Patron, who has a 40 to 50 year legacy of producing and arranging one of the most important albums in Latin music these days.
excellent. Well, thank you both, and thank you,
you.
Omero.
Thank you, Marcel.
All right, and thanks for being such a good friend and supporter of Antelope Audio.
No problem. Thank you so much, Marcel, for the opportunity.